Let's talk Star Wars.
Okay. I'm ready for this. So in my free time...
You're all ready for this?
I am all about Star Wars, as some of you guys know.
Plagiarism. Copyright.
Yes, all that. And I'm really excited about Rogue One, which is coming out in December 15th. However, the excitement that I'm feeling right now for Rogue One will pale in comparison to this time next year when we're waiting for Episode 8 to drop. So, I wanted to revisit some Episode 8 fan theories that I've been reading about. The first
you want
one,
to do Episode 8 fan theory? I thought we were just talking about Star Wars fan theories.
I mean, it's Star Wars fan theories. Let's see, did I put anything on here that's besides that? No, I didn't. There's some other theories that we may talk about that span across all. I didn't list some that we could talk about, but I have 7 things.
When I said, hey, what do you want to do this week? Or I said, I'm not doing it. You got to tell me what you want to do. You said Star Wars fan theories, and I thought okay, I'll talk about the old movies. I'll talk about this. And then you're like, Episode 8!
Well, that's all the ones I listed, but because those come to mind. But I keep seeing all these fan theories drop recently in my YouTube feed, and I keep watching them. And there's some interesting ones, and then there's some ones that we've talked about before that I just want to revisit because we haven't talked about it forever. And I love Star Wars, and we haven't had a Star Wars episode in forever. Not in depth. I guess we had the Rogue One trailer drop, but...
That was 2 weeks ago.
I know, but that's not enough!
It's been too long.
Not enough Star Wars!
I'm getting hives. I gotta talk about it.
Number 1, Tony's favorite theory is Rey Kenobi.
Fact. It's a given.
It's one of the things... Another aspect of this we haven't talked about, I think. Star Wars is essentially the story of the Skywalkers, right? From start to finish. Throughout the whole thing. And we've seen Anakin, we've seen Luke, and them reconcile... And it all comes to an end in Episode 6 when Darth Vader turns back, makes at least one redeeming thing and kills the Emperor, kind of tries to reset all of the Force crap that's going on. And so then we get the full story of Anakin, boom, it's done. What's next? Well, Episode 7 comes out, we have Rey, we have Luke in hiding, we have this new First Order. One of the things that the prequels did...
Is Rey the main character of 7?
I would say so. I would say, yeah, and so
not Poe,
not Finn, or not Poe, definitely. Finn,
his last name is
maybe.
Dameron.
Huh?
His last name is Dameron.
Yeah,
not definitely.
Poe Dameron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely not Poe Dameron.
Yep. Not Ron.
Not Poe Dameron. Definitely.
Definitely not him. The prequels, ObiWan and Anakin interact like crazy. Right? They're peers. One's a pupil of the other, but. Throughout 1 through 3, all the way through...
Because they're in love with the same woman, fan theory!
Dun dun dun!
Obi-Wan was in love with Padme.
There is a fan theory out there that says
we talked about that recently.
Yeah, we did. Obi-Wan Kenobi loved Padme, but couldn't show it.
If you want to see more about that, it's not our fan theory. It's actually from Reddit, but Cracked made a video about it, and I think it's very good.
It's quite compelling.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good. So... They interact a lot, and the idea is that now in 7, 8, and 9, we're returning to not just this being the story of the Skywalkers, but this is really the story of the Kenobis too. Because through 1, 2, and 3, Kenobi's a main character. I mean, he's the one who makes turns Darth Vader into who he is. Really, I mean, he becomes Darth Vader, but how we see him, how he's physically represented. He chopped off his legs and chopped off his arm and burned him to crap. So
yeah, I'm real good.
That is crucial in the storyline of Darth Vader, right? That's why he looks like he does in 4, 5, and 6. Then in 4, 5, and 6, we see Kenobi lie about Anakin being dead to Luke. And we see Kenobi confront him in Episode 4, die, but still has an effect because he learns the Force Ghost stuff and still guides Luke and the Skywalkers. So the families of the Skywalkers and the Kenobis are intertwined throughout all of the movies. This continues. Here's the theory.
Is that because Skywalker didn't exist until Anakin was made by the Force?
Yes.
That's so weird.
Essentially, yeah. And there's a theory about that I'm going to talk about too.
Ayo.
So essentially, Rey is a Kenobi because there has to be a Kenobi in 7, 8, 9 for the trend to continue of the story of Kenobi and Skywalker. You cannot have a Skywalker without a Kenobi.
There's got to be balance in the Force.
There has to be balance in this. And so Rey is a Kenobi partly because...
Except for Episode 5 and 6, where there's no Kenobi. It's
just there's Kenobi.
It's just a ghost.
Yeah, it's Force Ghost. He's making things happen.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He's talking to Luke.
All right.
He's training them. Still training them from the other side. So Rey is a Kenobi because of that reason. Because we have a Skywalker within Kylo. We have a Kenobi inside of Rey. And, there's evidence to that. Maybe Force Ghost Vision. The Force Vision.
Luke is there.
Rey, these are your first steps. That line in her Force Vision.
By Ewan McGregor.
Yep, and...
The
Alec...
Clone Wars, whatever.
McGinnis. Alec...
Sure.
Ewan McGregor is the Clone Wars one.
What?
Yeah, Ian McGregor.
He does the voice for that?
He's 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
That's the actor who plays
No, I'm talking about the Clone Wars TV show.
Oh, no, he doesn't do the voice for that. I don't think. For that, Kenobi, no.
Pass.
So,
next.
Rey Kenobi. Next one, Rey Solo.
Question mark?
Question mark? Is that
I think the real question is, Rey single?
Hey-yo. Probably. She's been on that desert planet for quite some time. I didn't see any.
I don't know if she's the kind of girl you want to date. She's kind of gruff.
Yeah,
She'd beat you up.
she's pretty aggressive, I think.
She'd beat you up.
She would. This fan theory says that Kylo and Ren are brother and sister. And you can see that...
Kylo and Rey.
Kylo and Rey. Or I said Ren and Rey. Kylo or Ben.
Kylo Ren.
Ben Solo,
and
Rey Solo, brother and sister. They hid Rey away early on. Don't know for what reason. We can speculate on...
She was too strong.
Whatever. I can't see this. This is the problem. I can't see the motivation for them to hide her.
Too much of a distraction for the other boys in class.
Unless it was they saw.
She was a maturing young woman. She matured before all the other boys.
But we saw.
She was taller than them.
Oh my gosh, that's too much. Other than maybe
women mature faster than boys.
Kylo was turning the dark side, so they hid her away. But that does make sense because when Rey got dropped off, she was like 4. Like you guys have seen the movie, hopefully. She's dropped off really young when that ship flies away. So I don't know how much credit there is in that. But the idea being that when Leia sees Rey at the end of the movie, she like recognizes she has like a different reaction than you would with a stranger. Like she sees each other for the first time, and then she goes and hugs her. And like, why would she do that? Maybe it's like they can both sense each other in the Force,
not Chewbacca.
or maybe it's Leia's daughter.
What?
Da, da, da. So that's number 2. Number 3. This is the most common Snoke theory there is.
Wait. If Rey and Kylo Ren are brother and sister, there has to be a scene, given Star Wars tradition,
With a kiss.
where they kiss.
True.
At least twice.
Gross.
So if that happens in episode 8, confirmed.
Confirmed. What if that did happen?
Didn't they almost kiss in 8? I mean, not like their faces were really close. Is that when he was about to say, "I can show you the world"?
Yeah. Well, he's trying to turn her to the dark side. He's like, "I can train you.
I can.
You need to be
show
trained. I can show you the world."
Who do you think is older, Rey or Kylo?
Kylo.
Really? Because Rey looks older?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because Kylo's like a wimpy teenage boy.
Yeah, maybe it's the way he deals with his emotions that makes me think that Kylo is...
Maybe he is older and that's why they had to kick her out of there.
Maybe.
Maybe, this is my theory, which goes along with a future theory that we're getting to right now.
Okay.
The Knights of Ren are some of Luke Skywalker's old students.
Dun, dun, dun. It was told...
So, Rey and Ren, Kylo Ren, were training with Luke, and then Rey, as a woman, matured faster than all the other boys, challenged her brother, beat her. She beat him real good.
Yeah.
And then he became all emotional, distraught, that stayed with him for the rest of his life. Their parents had to exile Rey because she was too good. Off to the desert planet.
Is that it?
That's my theory.
Okay. So that theory, it kind of isn't contradicted at all from the movies. The Star Wars has a thing where they like to say that if you turn to the dark side, they're dead, which is from Obi-Wan saying that Anakin was dead, which was really just a really bad script writing and something that they changed after they wrote the first movie, because then they're like, oh, we're going to make him... Like, it wasn't decided until Episode 5 that Darth Vader was Luke's dad. Like, that wasn't a thing until then. So they kind of had to work that into the canon somehow and make sense. But we know that sometimes they refer to people as dead when they return. So maybe when it's said that Kylo Ren murdered all of Luke's other students, which is mentioned in Episode 7.
Is it?
Yes, it is. maybe what they really mean is that he turned them all to the dark side with him.
I don't...
And probably killed some of them.
I agree with that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I think Kylo Ren would just kill them all.
Maybe.
I like that more as a character than him like, no, come with me.
But
come with me if you want to leave.
I guess the Knights of Ren are just such a question mark after 7 because we only see them in the Force vision. That's it. We don't know anything about them. Hopefully episode 8 we'll get some answers.
Isn't he part of the Knights of Ren?
He's the leader of the Knights of Ren.
How did I get that?
Yeah, that's what Snoke talks to him about.
Pure power?
Yeah. He's a solo man. He's on top.
He's a solo man.
Solo man on top. Talking back up to what I was saying earlier, Snoke is Darth Plagueis. That is number 1 theory, I would say, most common theory about who Snoke is. Darth Plagueis is mentioned in episode 3.
Yep. At the opera.
At the opera. It's a really weird scene because it really doesn't fit into...
Why is that an opera?
The rest of... Like there's nothing mentioned about Darth Plagueis in any other movie. All of a sudden, he's like, oh yeah, he could cheat death, and he was
my master,
killed by Darth Sidious, and like he tells Anakin this whole story about this guy. So it would make sense then that be used to create Snoke nowadays. Also, Snoke could have made Anakin Skywalker. The idea being that because he could control life, he could extend life, he could create life, which if you've read the Darth Plagueis book, which I have.
Is that canon?
It was canon, no longer. But Plagueis is canon because he said in episode 3 exactly what that means. All we know is in that scene, he does say he could extend life, he could control life, he had such a mastery of the Force. So the idea being that Snoke actually is the one behind Anakin's birth. And so then it all comes around here circle in episode 7, 8, 9 with Darth Plagueis being confronted by the Skywalker line, which he created. Another theory, Snoke creates Rey. Rey is nobody's father or his child, but Darth Plagueis. Or Snoke. Snoke is Rey's dad. Because,
someone left her there.
Yeah. So they created... Snoke created Rey as another experiment to make a super powerful Force wielder that he could have on his side, which also goes into the fan theory of Rey.
What does that ever work?
I'm just going back. I'm on a roll right now, man.
He's like 0 for 2 right now.
Right, but what if this happens? Kylo Ren and Rey flip sides. By the end of episodes 7, 8, 9, Rey will be the bad guy. Kylo Ren will be the good guy. They've both turned to the opposite sides. What happens? Mind blown.
Can you give me some reasoning behind that?
Kylo, Luke and Kylo confront each other in episode 8. There's some speculation that Mark Hamill will not be in episode 9, that he will be killed in episode 8.
Because he's old.
Because, there's the
because
human factors.
Has too many episodes in The Flash where he has to play the trickster.
Exactly. He's too busy. There was some tweets that Mark Hamill makes. He likes to tweet a lot at the end of wrap-up, and it seems to be he's a little bit more emotional than he has been in the past with movies that he's done or projects he's done. There was also a picture by Rian Johnson of...
The director?
Yeah, the director of episode 8 of Luke's robes on a hanger, and he's like, that's it, that's a wrap, and it's just the picture of his robes. And some people interpret that as, oh, does that mean that it's over for Luke? Because they're showing us Luke's robes? And so there's a lot of speculation whether or not this will be...
Well, as we know from Star Wars Episode 4, when you get killed, your robes are unaffected.
That's true.
There's no holes in them.
You're gone. You just disappear.
You disappear.
Yeah, so maybe that's the ending scene as we see his robes fall to the ground and naked Mark Hamill become a ghost.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh. So there's some theories there. But maybe the confrontation between Kylo and Luke turns...
Is reminiscent of Vader and Luke?
In some ways. In some, maybe.
So you're like, Luke convinced Vader to change to the good side, more or less. So you think he's doing it again with Kylo?
Yeah, and so Kylo will flip in episode 9.
Just flip out, like he always says.
He'll flip out, but he'll be like, oh man, I killed my dad. I'm so sad. I need to be good again. I love you, Mom. Sorry for killing your husband / ex-husband / my dad. And then Rey, for some reason...
Like a real Skywalker, just a real flip-flopper.
And then connection
to Kylo Ren. Darth Vader, too. He's a big old flip-flopper. He starts good, goes bad.
Skywalkers, man.
Starts bad, goes good. You can't trust him.
So then Kylo goes to the dark side, or goes to the light side after being the dark side for so long. Rey, after learning that her father is actually Snoke, follows him, turns to the dark side. theory. Probably not the thing, but it's a theory nonetheless.
I don't know if Kylo Ren is that committed to the dark side.
Yeah.
But they also need some strong powerhouse on the dark side. I don't know what Plagueis is going to be like. He seems kind of immobile, just in his chair there.
Yeah.
Very much.
But so did the Emperor. I mean, we see the Emperor in one room, and that's it. No other scenes. Oh, I guess he walks onto the Death Star.
Yeah, but
before then, we just see him in holograms.
Exactly. And there was Darth Vader to fill that void of a villain.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be there's a void if Darth Plagueis isn't going to be around of a villain, and I think Kylo Ren is going to be that, or the Knights of Ren or whatever. Mm-hmm. I would like to see the Knights of Ren now be like the new Death Star. They're just raining terror on galaxies and
enforcing the will of the First Order.
Yeah. And the Emperor and all, Plagueis and whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of a giant weapon, just have these people like go to a town on these planets.
And they're like invincible because how powerful they are.
There's lay waste to everything.
Yeah.
So there's all these ruins instead of just a gone planet.
Yeah. They're gonna run out of planets eventually. There are a lot of them.
Because that's how space works.
Yep. So those are some theories. Phasma has been confirmed to be in episode 8.
Captain Phasma. Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, she's Brienne of Tarth from
Lord of the Rings.
Not Lord of the Rings. The other one.
Aragon.
No.
Harry Potter.
No. Game of Thrones.
Westworld?
So I'm hoping to see her in a bigger role. Like, I want her to now be like actually a bad character.
She needs to see if the Knights of Ren are the enforcers.
Yeah,
she needs to be like the commander in chief of the army.
Yeah, and she needs to be seen as that.
Yeah,
because we kind of get the picture because she has sweet armor and at the beginning she's like,
she looks sick.
Yeah, she looks awesome. But then her character didn't do anything that supported her being like super crazy. Bad, but also really cool at the same time.
So do you want to see a war on like 2 or 3 fronts where there's a giant... There's the rebels, or what do they call them?
The resistance.
The resistance fighting against the Captain Phasma's army. You want to see that going on. So there's air battles and all this other stuff. But you also want to see like a kind of behind the scenes, kind of like a sneaky big battle between Plagueis and the evil people and Kylo Ren versus like Luke Skywalker and Rey and Poe. I think Poe will be fighting for the Resistance.
Yeah.
Finn and Rey will be fighting for like Luke.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Perhaps. I don't know where Finn's gonna fit.
So you think Finn's gonna get like his own lightsaber and fight for the Resistance? Yeah. Kind of be like a powerhouse on there to counteract against
the Knights of
Phasma?
Ren. Well, I guess where are the Knights of Ren gonna be? They're gonna be on the.
They're gonna be fighting against Rey and Luke.
That would be sick.
So Rey would be outnumbered versus the Knights of Ren and Kylo Ren. But then on the war front, Finn is equivalent to Phasma
with force powers.
Yeah,
is he going to be a force user?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
And then Poe Dameron is like leading the Air Force and just like destroying people because clearly that's what he does.
Because he's the best pilot ever.
So would you like to see a movie like that where there's kind of like 2, maybe 3 different stories going on?
That would be exciting, and it kind of fits into this being like Empire Strikes Back because there are like 2 main components of Empire Strikes Back. There's the Hoth battle and escape, and then there's the confrontation against Darth Vader, right? And the training with Yoda too.
So if the next movie it started with Finn being strong and having force powers and having a lightsaber, would you be upset that it started like that? Do you want to see him grow into that, or you just want to be like 5 years later, now he's super strong, and maybe they'd explain it later, but you don't get to grow into that?
Well, I know they've stated that this is going to take place immediately after 7.
Oh.
So we're not going to get a time jump. I think it'd be cool if by the end of episode 8...
What's going on with Finn at the end of episode 7?
He got injured. He got sliced in the back in the fight, and so they bring him in on a stretcher, and...
Maybe they'll give him Doc Ock arms.
Oh, with lightsabers.
General
Grievous arms. Yeah. That'd be funny. It'd be fun if by the end of the episode we learn that Finn has force powers. But I don't want him to be as powerful as Rey.
Why not?
Because
he's black?
No. No, because Rey's the one who's the main character.
So you think.
So I think.
That movie,
what if she dies in this next episode?
That movie I just told you is what I really want to see now. I don't care what happens. I want to see a giant war with Poe in the air and like in space, and I want to see Finn like on the ground fighting an army, and I want to see Rey and Luke going off and doing their own thing against the Knights of Ren and Kylo Ren.
That'd be sick.
That's what I want to see.
Because that's like the best thing about Empire Strikes Back. Like, to me, when I was a kid, I watched the Hoth battle like over and over again. I wouldn't watch the second half of the movie. I would just watch that because it was so much fun. And then when Rogue Squadron came out on N64, I played that mission over and over again because I wanted to tie up the stupid walkers' legs.
Battlefront 2 on PS2.
No, I did it all the time. So get crazy kill streaks. Oh my gosh. Man, the Hoth battle's awesome. So it'd be sick if
I really want to see that movie I just thought of.
Let's hope that's it.
Rian Johnson, get to it.
He's an interesting director.
Would you like that to be a episode 8 movie or episode 9 movie that I just said?
Well, I think
it would essentially be a war movie. So Rogue One is
a war heist movie.
A war heist movie. This would be like a war movie.
I'd be fine with a war movie. It'd be exciting.
Speaking of war, the developers for Infinity Warfare, the new Call of Duty, said that they want to make this game as close to World War II as possible. Not a future game, Infinite Warfare. They want to make Infinite Warfare as close to World War II as possible.
What,
like you kind of missed the
campaign of it, or
like the gameplay. Like they want it to feel like big giant war that you don't have a lot of effect on, things like that.
So,
and I'm like, you kind of missed out on that when you developed the game.
You made really small maps with 6 players versus 6
Did you watch that video?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think of it?
I was impressed.
Sandwich?
Yeah, I actually used it in class the next day.
I knew.
I said, I was only going to tell you I'm going to present it to you like a sandwich, because I learned this from my friend Tony.
Oh, you didn't show the video?
No.
You should show the video.
I should. That's pretty good.
That was a nasty sandwich. I meant to mention that in the video.
I laughed so hard with the things you kept adding to the sandwich. I was like, ah! And then you put No Man's Sky on there, and I was like,
shots.
We love to hate on that. There's so many things.
I was going to do,
instead
of No Man's Sky, I was going to do the Last Guardian pre-order, but I couldn't find anything good, so I just No Man's Sky.
Yeah. It's hard to express that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a complicated thing. Yeah.
And back to Star Wars.
So there are questions about Luke's exile. Why did he exile himself?
Let's talk about number 5. Finn. Okay. And is Mace... Your theory is Finn is Mace Windu's son. But before that, we need to talk about how Donald Glover was cast as Lando Calrissian in the Solo film.
He was.
The Han Solo film.
Which will be out in 2019?
Which takes place like 20, 30 years... 30 years at least.
Yeah.
Before this movie comes out.
Yes. So this is going to be the origin story of Han Solo.
How would Mace Windu have a son?
So
He's a Jedi.
This isn't my theory.
The most boring Jedi.
I found this on YouTube in the endless playlist run. Like, you just like let YouTube run itself. Like, I heard this. The idea being that Mace Windu did not die in Episode 3
when he got his hands.
When he got his hand cut off, and he got force lightninged out into the darkness, the abyss, because of a few reasons. Number 1, Jedi can fall and jump from incredible distances and land perfectly fine.
True.
There are lots of examples of that. Number 2...
Wait, you said a lot of examples.
Yeah.
I can think of 3.
Okay.
There's the one at the end of Episode 1 where Obi-Wan jumps out of the hole and slices Darth Maul.
Okay.
Doesn't kill him. Then I think at Episode 3, Obi-Wan and Anakin jump pretty high, like up an elevator shaft or something. But that's the only one. Because that doesn't happen in 4, 5, 6.
Attack of the Clones, the Jedi fight battle.
They jump on top of the giant... Does Mace Windu jump?
Yeah, he does a jump. Episode 1, before he cuts Darth Maul in half, he gets kicked down to another platform really far away and does a giant jump up. In the Clone Wars cartoons, like when the platforms all big like light shows and Qui-Gon Jinn isn't dead yet, like before then, like the beginning of the part, it's probably been a while.
Clone Wars is canon?
Clone Wars is canon.
Cool.
So it happens in Clone Wars a lot, the cartoon.
It happens in Battlefront too.
It does.
You jump all the time.
You can jump as far as you want, you won't ever die.
That's fun. Okay, so your thought is he can land.
Yeah.
Does that good old superhero landing we saw
for
in
sure.
Deadpool.
Also, Mace Windu's combat style. So this is like really nerdy knowing stuff about Mace Windu, but essentially Mace Windu,
Samuel L. Jackson.
His lightsaber was purple.
Yeah, it was.
And he's the only person who has it purple because he follows a different type of combat style, and he like approaches being a Jedi differently than a lot of other characters.
That's why he's at the I want to call it the Chamber of Commerce.
The Jedi Council.
That's why he's at the Jedi Council.
He knows dark side force powers as a character, and he uses...
Because he's black, obviously.
And the idea is that he actually draws on the dark side to some extent because his approach to being a Jedi is balance, and so he like draws on that in his combat. Now I don't know the specifics of it because I haven't read a book on Mace Windu explicitly, but he does have some connection to the dark side and uses it in combat. And he's also sick. So the idea is that he got...
Time out. If this was true, his name would be Finn Windu.
Finn Windu. I like it. FN218.
Windu.
So the idea is that he survived and that he is actually Snoke.
What?
Mace Windu is Snoke. That's the idea.
Why would he be Snoke?
I don't know. That was what the theory said. They said the experience of Anakin, the experience of Anakin turning to the dark side and killing him makes him so angry. It pushes it. Well, chops off his arm, betrays him, gets attacked by Darth Sidious. He essentially gets very angry and wants revenge on the Skywalkers for all of that, which is why he's so obsessed with finding Skywalker. Also, because of his unique combat style and the way he approaches being a Jedi, essentially he just got pushed to the other end of the spectrum because it's just like who he is, except for now, instead of being on the light side, he's on the dark side.
Except he's about balance, and he becomes unbalanced.
Right, but can you be balanced and be on one side? Because that's what he chose to do with the Jedi Council. I mean, he's like the leader of the Jedi. Aren't they the light people?
I think the big question is, how can he have a son if he's a Jedi?
Well, the idea being that after he's pushed out, he goes into hiding, has a son.
What? How are you going to have a son with one arm? How are you going to seduce a woman? I know you're Samuel L. Jackson.
He uses the Force. He don't even... Bad things with the Force. He's a Jedi, or he's a Force user. He can do whatever he wants. And as a Sith Lord, he could do that too.
That sounds rapey.
It does, doesn't it? So the idea is that
he's because he's really a black man now.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Oh my gosh. Because he's a Sith Lord. And he really wanted Finn to be a Force user, is upset, and a Sith Lord, throws him into the military, and that's why there's like some dialogue scenes where he knows who to like FN218 or the traitor. Yeah. Like he talks about him and in the written book too, and so they think, it's because he's trying to figure out what happened to his son.
I think I
know it's a stretch, but it's a fan theory, man. It's a fan theory.
I don't know. I guess I don't know what's really going on with the Empire at the beginning of 7, because they're no longer clones, so they're no longer 100% obedient. So there has to be some people like going away from. So Finn leaving probably wasn't the first person to do that.
Yeah, and it's important to note too that the stormtroopers in 4, 5, and 6 were also not clones because they all aged out.
Oh, maybe, but they all didn't abandon ship.
No, and this is totally different too, because the Empire was like the government of everything.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just getting into the military of your society. This is the First Order. This is an offshoot group, paramilitary group. So
mercenaries.
And they even talk about their upbringing in the movie. They're like, we should have used clones. He's like, no. So they like rose up these kids with like conditioning, trying to get them to stay obedient. So I'm sure there might have been other examples.
Russians.
I haven't seen anything though about it. But those are some of the big ones. I think we came out with the ideal movie for episode 8.
Yes.
It was so exciting. I love ground battles and Star Wars.
Giant war movie. That'd be so sick.
Oh my gosh. Star Wars.
You want to talk about number 6?
Yeah, so why did Luke exile himself?
That's the theory. That's the question.
Why? What? The theory is...
he's being hunted? Because he wants... These are my thoughts.
Yeah.
He's being hunted. He wants to find the first Jedi temple so he can enhance his power, because really he's not that strong, as we've discussed previously. Maybe he was teaching Kylo Ren and he killed everybody, so now he's like, well, I probably can't teach anybody anymore because I'm a bad teacher. Mm-hmm. Because I had a bad teacher.
I think the realistic answer is he's upset because all of his students just got murdered by Kylo Ren, and he feels like a failure. I think that's the realistic one. And I don't think they can...
trying to find inner peace.
And out of it, and if you think about it, the original trilogy, all the results of the original trilogy is the rebellion succeeds, Luke and Han get together, and Luke is the last Jedi.
Before Luke and Han get together, Luke and Leia get together.
Did I say Luke and... Oh, man. Luke and Leia... Han and Leia get together at the end. So they've already out of those big things... Han and Leia are not together anymore. We learned that's a disaster. in what is Kylo Ren now, right? So that's they took that.
I don't know if I call it a disaster.
Well, it's a very negative situation. Their kid has turned to the dark side and abandoned all their family and all the ways that they believe. So I would consider that a disaster.
Dude, what's Chewie doing these days? What's he going to do in episode 8? Think he's going to be with Finn, or you think he's going to be with Leia?
I think he's going to be with Rey. Because that's where he goes at the very end.
Han Solo does offer Rey a job. So she probably has a Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
She has a Falcon?
At the very end, that's what she takes to go find Luke at the end.
So you think...
is the Falcon.
So that adds to she's a Solo.
Yeah. I think Kenobi would be fun. I think there's a little bit of evidence to back it up, so I think it's a valid theory. I think Rey Solo makes sense too in some ways, but it hurts on like the timing and the motivation. Like if they're twins, which I would assume because Star Wars is twins, it doesn't make sense very well.
Because one person in the whole galaxy was a twin, and it happened to be Luke and Leia.
Yeah, exactly. If they weren't twins, it makes more sense to me because they hid like Kylo was off, Ben was off to training with Luke. He starts to turn to the dark side. They have this young child who Ben doesn't even know about yet because he's been off training with Luke. They hide her so that he doesn't know about it. He has some sense of it because he uses the Force and can feel tremors and all that crap. And so that's why he's like, what girl? Like in episode 7. So I think there's some validity to the Rey Solo. I think the most obvious answer is Rey Skywalker. But I hope they don't do that because that's too easy. So those are like 3 really easy ones I think that could be true. Or at least have validity to them. Is Rey Solo, Rey Kenobi, Rey Skywalker, which just happens to be all the main characters of all the shows. They're connected somehow. I don't know.
Maybe she's just Rey. Maybe she's just herself. You know, women don't have to be tied to men to be important. Women can just be women, Justin.
That's true.
Internet.
True.
Maybe it's just Ray.
Ray, what up?
Maybe it's Riri Williams, the new Iron Man. Maybe that's who she is.
Maybe. That'd be sick. No, it wouldn't. What if Marvel and Star Wars had a crossover movie? What if
What would you like to see?
I would not like to see it.
How many stormtroopers do you think Spider-Man could take down?
All of them.
Like a number.
You have to give me a situation. Is he fighting in the city?
Yes.
If he's fighting in a city...
Coruscant.
Oh, he won. He wins. Look at all the stuff he can swing from. He'll be so mobile. That's so perfect for him. If he's in the middle of a field, stormtroopers probably win.
Do you think Spider-Man has a disadvantage because he moves so much? He's so acrobatic? Based on the fact that stormtroopers have such bad aim?
Yeah.
That they'll be trying to shoot him where he was?
Yeah.
And they'll accidentally shoot him where he's going to be?
Because there's so many of them. I mean, just volume of blaster bolts. It's just... They're bound to hit him eventually, probably.
You think so?
But in a city, you know, the buildings blocks a lot of them, so...
Who do you think would be the best match for war? There was a comic where Wolverine fought Darth Vader, by the way.
Is there?
I think so.
That's sick.
So who do you think would be the best match against Darth Vader? From Marvel.
From Marvel?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. The Hulk he would win. Hulk would win. Maybe.
Do you think the Hulk is strong enough to resist like a force choke or like being force pushed by Vader? Because the Hulk's strength is essentially infinite.
True, his strength is infinite. The question is...
Not to mention the fact getting hit by something that you can't see would make him so mad.
He'd be like swinging all around him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be a draw because Darth Vader can use the Force, and the Force we've seen doesn't really have limits because you only limit yourself, right? Like Luke can lift that, or Yoda lifts the X-Wing out of the swamp.
Can you, I just pictured the Hulk smashing Darth Vader like the Hulk does to Loki at the end of Avengers by the leg, but Darth Vader's leg comes off.
Who else? I don't know. Do you think Darth Vader could stop Thor's hammer?
With the Force?
With the Force, like if he throws it at him? Or could he lift it with the Force?
He couldn't lift it.
What if you lift the ground underneath it? Then could he lift it?
I don't know what the rules are on that.
I know, there's a lot of questions. Like if you put it in an elevator, which they ask in the movie. If you put it in an elevator, does it go up the elevator? Like, what happens? I don't know. Iron Man would get destroyed.
By Vader?
He would be absolutely destroyed. Not even close. Iron Man would not be able to take on... I would want him to, but no, I wouldn't, because there's no way he could...
Captain America wouldn't be able to do anything.
Oh, no. Captain America would be gone. Winter Soldier would be gone. God. Black Panther would be gone. Ant-Man, gone. Spider-Man, maybe.
Ant-Man would last longer than anyone you just mentioned.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Just because he can go so small.
Because he can, yeah. I mean,
but at the same time, maybe Darth Vader can be like, I can still sense you. Yeah.
He just uses his little force power to squish him. Trying to think who else. Thor, I think, would last a little bit.
Thor, again, as we've talked about Thor's character before, Thor has that can-do attitude where he's a little too arrogant. He just fights no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think he has that will.
I think he could last a little bit longer than the other guys. Hulk would probably win. I don't know.
The only thing I have against Hulk is all that Darth Vader has to do is like use his force to hold the Hulk upside down by his leg
and he passes
in the air. Not so much he passes out, but there's nothing connected to the force, so you can't break what's holding you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So there's villains, so like Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom would, I think, destroy Vader.
You think so?
Yeah, Doom's so strong. Sandman would be Darth Vader's ultimate weakness. Because Anakin hates
sand. It gets everywhere. That would be really funny.
Mystique, I think, would do well. She would just transform into Padme.
Yeah,
but confuse him? Or do you think he could tell?
He'd be able to tell. Force man. You can sense those types of things.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how Mystique's powers work.
Oh, yeah.
Purple Man from Jessica Jones?
Ooh.
Or do you think that Darth Vader's respirator his pheromones wouldn't go through?
Ooh, that's a hard question. If it did go through, Purple Man wins. If it doesn't, Purple Man's super screwed. He's got nothing. He's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. It kills him.
I think Luke Cage would do worse than the Hulk.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Because we know that his skin is indestructible.
But also his power doesn't scale. He has a set amount of power.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hulk keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, no, it wasn't Wolverine. It was Batman that fought Darth Vader.
And Batman won?
I don't remember. I think it was a tie. I think it was a draw.
I was going to say, Batman versus Darth Vader?
I think Darth Vader's like, I respect you. We're done here.
Yeah, so like that's the only way.
It wasn't Wolverine.
There's no way Batman would win against Darth Vader, at least in my mind. I can't...
Magneto would do...
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Really well.
I mean, it all depends on the situation, I think, for a lot of these. Like, what's the setting? What's the situation? Is one surprising the other?
In my head, I've been picturing the final fight in Episode 6. There. On the Death Star.
I have too, actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking like in a throne room type situation in the Death Star.
I think anywhere Magneto would have the advantage, assuming that his suit's made out of metal.
Yeah, there has to be metal in there. And the lightsaber, too. I mean, essentially, Magneto could make the lightsaber worthless. He could just break it.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's force versus magnetism.
Do you think... So in Episode 7, Kylo Ren at the very beginning stops that laser bolt, that blaster bolt, in midair. Do you think he could control that like a lightsaber?
I wonder if he could... I was wondering if he could reflect it.
I assume he could reflect it because they do that in previous movies. But you made me think if Magneto destroyed the hilt of his lightsaber, do you think a strong enough force wielder would be able to maintain the beam of light from the lightsaber and use that without the hilt?
Or just maintain the metal, like, to keep the metal...
Together?
Yeah, well, it just, like, keeps it... Like protects it like a shield from his powers. Like, how does that interact? Is the force like a part of like physics? Does it affect the laws of physics? Because that's what magnetism does. Is it's physics, right?
Do you think Kylo Ren could have stopped that blaster bolt, split it up into like 10 different pieces, and like shot out and killed 10 different people at once?
That'd be crazy if he could.
I want to see that.
That'd be sick.
All right, that's enough.
All right, we could speculate about this for a long time.
We will.
If you've listened this far, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. You guys rock. If you have anything that you would like to add to this conversation, like who you think would go up well against Darth Vader, maybe your own fan theories that you've looked at, or maybe a fan theory that you like that you'd like to share with us, you can share that link to us on Twitter. You can tweet at us at UPGamersPodcast.
Yep.
You can send it to us in email. underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
You could go to our website, drop a comment. You could go to our YouTube channel and drop a comment.
Yep.
All those things are easy ways for you to interact with us. And we thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and share us with your friends.
Yes, all those things.
Yep.
See ya!